Friends, welcome to Salesforce CRM Analytics video session 169. So basically in today's video, we will understand how we can compare, two measures with different filters. Fine. So comparison between two measures in a particular data set having different filters. So that comparison of measures can only be done by providing two different filters, and that is what I'm going to show you today. In the previous video, you understood how we can apply the filters on the dataset level. Today, I will just quickly walk you through some of the combination of filters which also can be done on the dataset. And the main topic, of course, will be focusing on how we can compare two different measures, okay, based on the two filters which we give individually on a particular dataset. Fine. So let's go to the Analytics Studio. And here, let me open this particular part. And maybe I can just duplicate this one. Okay, here instead of opening this one, let me open the previous things which we have done. Okay, I haven't saved any one of those, which is fine. So here I will just open this one, and firstly let me walk you through the combinations of it. For example, here if I just provide the stage, okay, these are some of the stages which we have. Now what you can do is like you can go for stage bucket equal to, let's say, open stages. That is one of the filters. And also now you can apply something like, let's say, industry. Okay, can apply something like industry on agriculture, apparel, banking, biotechnology, maybe something with ABC, and just selecting that randomly. Okay. So that's how this has come up. Fine. Now, these are the different combinations of filter. If you go to the add filter logic, like you have this 1 and 2, like both the filter conditions apply. If you want to change that, you can apply it over here. Okay. Now, let's say go for one more filter, which is something like the, maybe let's say the billing country. Okay. So for billing country, let's say I go for USA, United Kingdom, okay, USA, United Kingdom, Mexico, and India. So I have applied this filters. Fine. Now, as you can see here, these are the different kind of filters which you can apply. And I can play around always with a combination. Okay. So for example, I have 1 and 2 and 3. That's simple. How is it? It's like you have the stage bucket of open stages. You are going for the industry, this kind of industry. Then you are having the billing country as this. Now, if you want to change the logic, you can always do it over here. For example, I want to go something like 1 and 2. Okay. Or 3. Okay. Maybe I can put this in bracket, which is fine. Now let me click on apply. So as you can see, I changed the filter condition over here. So it's like having both of this, or you show me all those records which are having billing country of this kind of thing. So it's like either show me the records which are having stage bucket, open stages, industry equal to all these values, or if these two conditions are not meeting at one go, then show me all those which are having this billing country. Okay, that's how this logic is working. Now, of course, we can further play around with this logic. We can also write something like OR, and can write and over here as well. Okay, as you can see, the value got changed. So it's like basically it's like either show me the open stage bucket of open stage, or you show me all this industry. That is fine. Either of those two is fine. But basically the open stage needs to be there, as well as all this billing country has to be there. So it's the way to read out is this one. Like we will have the stage bucket of open stage, and also we will have the billing country, like all this country. The second criteria is like either have this industry, all this industry, and you can also have this country as well. Fine. So that's the way we read out this part. So this is all about the combination of filter. You can have various combinations, and of course we can also mark it as 1 or 2 or 3 as well. Okay, that way also we can do. If I apply on this is the way it will work out. So these are some of the combination of filters also which you can apply. Fine. So maybe I can just save this as combination of filters. Previously I never saved any data set related to filters, but maybe I can start off with this one. And let me save in my recipe data set, which is fine. Okay. Now, what we can do is like here, now we will check out how we can apply the filters for different measures. As I told, like this is the chart mode, and I have the count of rows. Let's say I again want to go for the count of rows. Okay, so these are the count of rows which I have, which is completely fine. Now this is showing me, both of them are showing me the same numbers. Now let's say I want to find out like what is the count of rows for open stage and what is the count of rows for closed stage. Okay, that is something which I want to find out. Now how we can do about this one? So for example, here, if you click on this, you have this called add a filter, okay, for this count of rows. So when you go for count of rows and we want to add a filter, let's say I want to go for stage bucket, something like open stages, okay. So I can click on apply over here. And here, let's say I go for stage bucket equal to close stages. In case your question is like how we got the stage bucket, this derived fields, and also you need to check my previous video where we actually built a recipe and brought this particular field of stage bucket. We have given some condition. That's how we have done. But yeah, this is the way where now if you see, I have the count of rows, okay, over here for the stage bucket open stage, and I have the count of rows for the stage bucket of close stage as well. Okay, so both of this count are now showing me properly over here. Fine. Now, of course, if you want, you can go for this stage bucket as well if needed. Okay, so that's the thing. For example, you see, like that's how this is a simple example which I'm taking just to make you understand. Like basically, I have given two kind of count of rows where one of them will be showing me the open stage and the other one will be showing me the close stage. Okay, now if you see over here, that's how this value is popping up. Like here, maybe I can play around with the formatting where maybe I can show some legend if possible. Here I think the legend is not needed, but anyways, here if you see, like for the close stages, okay, this open stage, okay, the first part is 0, okay. So sorry, for the open stages, okay, or let me just check one thing. Okay, so you are having this blue one, okay, which is the first one, the open stages, and the close stages are 507. Okay, I think that's how it's represented. Let me just check one last time. Let me check one last time. Yeah, so the first one is the 703 is the open stages, okay. 703 is the open stages. 703 is the open stages and the closed stages is 507, okay. Now what I will do, I will bring the stage bucket, okay. So the blue color, okay, which is showing the open stages. Now if you see over here for closed stages, I don't have any value for the open stages, which is represented by blue color, okay. That's represented by blue color. Now that is something which is not visible over here, which is understandable. And for open stages, if you see, I have the basically the open stages, which is the first one is 700, for the closed stages is 0. That's how it should be, and that's how it's properly visible over here. Now maybe I can go for something else. Let's say I go for stage, okay. So on the stage, now you will get to see the proper count of rows. So whichever is closed rows, like here it's showing me, okay, like I have 0 things related to stages, like 0 count of rows for the open stages and 0 count of rows for the open stages for closed one, for both of this, and that's ideally something which is understandable. And if you see for others, you have all the open stages count, but you don't have any closed stage count. So that's how it's represented. Now we can bring any fields. So you can bring the industry as well and check out like how many how many count of closed accounts are there, how many open accounts are there. In that way, you can check for other things as well. So example, if I don't have opportunity type, but maybe I could have shown for opportunity type as well, but that doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, I hope you understood how with two different measures, we can actually go for this kind of filters. Fine. Now, what I can do is maybe I can just duplicate this once again and I can show you how the same thing we can do for a comparative. So this is something I've shown on the chart board. This is the filter which is applied on the each of the bar length. Now the same thing we can do for the tables. We cannot do for values table, of course. Okay, so for chart, you can do any of the charts, that's fine. But here, when it comes to values table, like what happens is on the values table, you will not have this option because it's just showing you the values. Okay, you cannot do the filter on values table. But if you go to compare table here, of course, you can again do the same thing. So for example, I go for the sum of amount, and again, I go for the sum of amount over here. And for the first one, I apply the filter, let's say, again, the same thing. For example, stage bucket, I go for open stages. Okay, I click on apply. And for the second one, I go for close stages, stage bucket equal to close stages, and I click on apply. And under group by, maybe what I can do is I can take the something like stages once again. So these are different stages, and that's how it's being shown up. Okay, these are the two things which are. It shows the sum of amount, and as you understand that for the open stages, for closed doors and closed, it will be 0. That's why it's coming as nil. Okay, and that's what I group by. The same thing you can do for pivot table as well. Fine. So if I just duplicate this once again, I'm just taking the same example just to ensure you understand that point. But ideally, you can take another thing. For example, here, maybe instead of bar stage, I can take something like billing country as well. Okay, so under each billing country, I can see like how many closed stages are there, how many open stages are there. Okay, that's what I can actually see over here. Fine. And I think maybe I can discuss this later as well, but I believe we can also apply the conditional formatting if needed. So under bar chart, this is all fine. So if the conditional formatting, let's say, is needed for what the count of rows you are showing, you can actually do that part. Fine. So here, for example, uh, okay, we can rename this as well. So instead of count of rows, like I can rename this column something to like count of open stages. Okay. So instead of count of rows, I can name it as count of open stages. I can click on apply. And here also, yeah, now it's coming up properly. The two, this is what I wanted basically, the two legends. Okay. And the second one, because it was of the same name, it was showing differently. It was showing of the same color. So I'm putting them close. Here, what I can do is I can just rename this column and write count of close stages. Okay. And click on apply. Okay, now it's coming perfectly fine. As you can see, the count of open stages, count of closed stages, and maybe I can just go for stage only as of now. So now it's visible like, okay, for closed loss, you don't have any count of open stages. For closed one, and that's how it has to be. And for the rest of the things, the colors are displayed properly. Okay, so that's what the filtering we have done on each of the measures to compare the two measures. Okay, and similarly, we can do on the compare table as well, as I showed you over here. Fine. And the last thing is something which we can do on the pivot table as well. Okay. So if I just hover to my pivot table and here, let's say go for something like average, where I'm going for different dimensions altogether in each one of them. Okay. And let's say I group by again the stages only. And here I will go for add a filter, the same thing. I will go for the stage bucket, open stages, click on apply and go for, let's say, add a filter. Okay, again stage bucket equal to close stages, click on apply, and maybe here I can also group by something like maybe industry as well, right, to give you further information. And yeah, we can rename it properly. So for example, sum of amount, I can like just rename this as sum of amount of open stages. Okay, sum of amount open stages, and same thing I can do over here, sum of amount of fine. And same thing maybe I can just do over here as well, sum of amount of so that's the way this whole thing is. Okay, and yeah, this way I can save it as well. Like I can just write uh, comparing count of rows in chart mode, and maybe I can save it in my recipe data set, which is fine. And similarly here I can write comparing sum of amount in compare table, and finally comparing average of amount in pivot table. So yeah, of course, that's it about this video. That's the whole purpose of this video, where I just wanted to give you a quick walkthrough of the different comparison which we can do for different, I mean, for same measures, different comparison for same measures by applying filter on each of those measures. Okay, so that's the way it is. Firstly, we understood the combination of filters as I walked you through, and then we understood how we can do this filtration as well, where we can clearly check up. Okay, in the chart mode as well as, I showed you the same example on the table mode, nothing like the same example, and the same example on uh, uh, pivot table, but just by taking different measures altogether. Like here I've taken count, here I've taken sum, here I've taken average. Okay, so yeah, that's it about this video, and let's meet very soon in our next video. Thank you.